the shattered Luna. The night everything ended. The celebration lights sparkled like stars across the Silver Crest Pack territory. Alara Moonstone stood at the edge of the grand ballroom, her heart swelling with pride as she watched her mate, Alpha Adrian Blackwood, command the room with his presence. Tonight marked 5 years since they had completed their mating bond, and she had spent weeks planning this anniversary celebration for the pack. She wore the silver dress Adrian had given her last year, the one he said matched her eyes. Her long dark hair was styled in elegant waves, and for once, she felt beautiful. Around her, pack members laughed and danced, celebrating not just the anniversary but the prosperity their alpha couple had brought to Silver Crest. Alara's wolf purred contentedly inside her. Everything was perfect, or so she thought. The woman in red. Across the room, Adrian stood talking with the pack elders, but his attention kept drifting to someone else. Alara followed his gaze and felt her first tremor of unease. A stunning she-wolf in a crimson dress held court near the refreshment table, her blonde hair cascading down her back like liquid gold. Vivian Sterling. She had joined the pack 3 months ago, claiming refugee status from a destroyed pack in the Eastern Territories. Something about Vivian had always made Alara uncomfortable, though she could never explain why. The woman was charming, helpful, and seemingly devoted to Silver Crest. But there was something in her green eyes, a calculating coldness that appeared when she thought no one was watching. Tonight, Vivian's eyes were locked on Adrian, and worse, Adrian was staring back. Alara's best friend, Maya, appeared at her elbow with 2 glasses of wine. "Don't worry about her," Maya whispered, noticing Alara's concerned expression. "Adrian loves you. Everyone knows that. Vivian is just seeking attention." But Alara's wolf had begun to whine, sensing something wrong in the bond she shared with her mate. The connection felt strained, stretched thin like a rope about to snap. She pressed her hand to her chest, trying to understand the growing ache there. The public humiliation. Adrian suddenly raised his hand, calling for silence. The music stopped. Conversations died mid-sentence. Every wolf in the ballroom turned to face their alpha. Alara smiled, assuming he was about to make a toast to their anniversary. She started walking toward him, ready to stand at his side as she always did. "Stop!" Adrian's voice cut through the room like a blade. Alara froze mid-step, confusion washing over her. Adrian's face was cold, emotionless, nothing like the warm mate who had kissed her goodbye that morning. "I have an announcement to make," Adrian continued, his voice carrying to every corner of the silent ballroom. "Tonight, I am dissolving my bond with Alara Moonstone." The words hit Alara like physical blows. Her knees nearly buckled. Around her, gasps of shock rippled through the crowd. This couldn't be happening. Not here. Not now. Not like this. "Adrian." Her voice came out small, broken. "What are you saying? This is our anniversary. I don't understand." "There is nothing to understand," Adrian replied, his eyes finally meeting hers with devastating indifference. "I am rejecting you as my mate and Luna. You are no longer part of this pack's leadership." The cruel truth. Alara stumbled forward, her wolf howling in agony inside her. "Why? What did I do wrong? Adrian, please talk to me. We can fix this. Whatever I did, I can fix it." "You did nothing wrong," Adrian said flatly. "You are simply not enough. You never were." The words shattered something fundamental inside Alara. She had dedicated 5 years to being the perfect Luna, caring for pack members, settling disputes, organizing community events, standing beside Adrian through every challenge. And she was not enough? "I have found my true mate," Adrian announced, and Alara's world tilted on its axis. "The moon goddess has blessed me with a second chance at the bond one was always meant to have." He extended his hand, and Vivian glided forward like a serpent, a triumphant smile on her perfect face. She took Adrian's hand and pressed herself against his side, exactly where Alara had stood for 5 years. "This is impossible," Alara whispered, tears streaming down her face. "The moon goddess doesn't make mistakes. We were fated mates. I felt the bond. You felt it too. Sometimes, Vivian purred, her voice dripping with false sympathy. The first bond is just practice for the real thing. Adrian and I share something you could never give him. Real passion, real power, real love. The breaking ritual. Alara looked around the ballroom desperately, seeking support from the pack members she had served faithfully for 5 years. Some looked away in shame. Others whispered behind their hands. A few, like Maya, had tears in their eyes, but no one stepped forward to defend her. No one challenged their alpha's decision. Adrian, please, Alara begged, her pride crumbling. Don't do this. Not like this. We can talk privately. Just give me a chance to understand. I, Adrian Blackwood, alpha of the Silver Crest Pack, reject you, Alara Moonstone, as my mate, my Luna, and my partner. Adrian intoned formally, speaking the ancient words that would sever their bond. I release you from all ties to me and to this pack. You are no longer mine. Pain exploded through Alara's chest as the mate bond began to tear. It felt like her heart was being ripped from her body, like every cell in her being was screaming in agony. She collapsed to her knees, clutching her chest, unable to breathe through the overwhelming pain. Say the words, Adrian commanded coldly. Accept the rejection and release me from the bond. No, Alara gasped. I won't. You can't make me. Adrian's eyes flashed with annoyance. If you do not accept, the pain will continue. It will destroy you slowly. Is that what you want? To suffer endlessly out of stubbornness. The final goodbye. Alara looked up at the man she had loved with every fiber of her being. The man she had built a life with. The man she had trusted with her heart, her soul, her future. And she saw nothing but a stranger wearing Adrian's face. Through the haze of pain, a small spark of defiance ignited. If he wanted her gone, she would leave with what remained of her dignity. I, Alara Moonstone. She forced the words out through gritted teeth. Accept your rejection. I release you from our bond. May you find whatever it is you are searching for, Adrian Blackwood. And may you realize its value only when it is gone forever. The bond snapped completely, and Alara screamed as the final connection severed. Felt like dying. Part of her wished she would die, that the pain would simply stop her heart and end this nightmare. But she did not die. She remained on her knees in the center of the ballroom, gasping for air, feeling utterly hollow where the mate bond had once filled her with warmth and purpose. You have until dawn to leave pack territory, Adrian announced to the room, already turning away from her as if she no longer existed. Anyone who aids her after that time will be considered a traitor to Silver Crest. Cast out into darkness. Maya rushed forward to help Alara to her feet, but Adrian's beta, Marcus, blocked her path. The Alpha has spoken, Marcus said, though his eyes showed conflict. She leaves alone. Alara found her feet through sheer force of will. She would not give them the satisfaction of seeing her crawl. She straightened her spine, wiped the tears from her face, and walked toward the exit with her head held high. Every step felt like walking through broken glass, but she kept moving. As she reached the door, Vivian's voice rang out, sweet as poison. Oh, Alara, don't forget to leave the Luna's pendant. It belongs to the pack now. To me. Alara's hand moved to the silver pendant around her neck, the symbol of her position as Luna. Adrian had placed it there on their mating ceremony day, promising it would never leave her neck. She unclasped it with shaking fingers and let it fall to the floor with a soft clink. Keep it, Alara said quietly. May it bring you all the joy it brought me. She walked out into the night, leaving behind her home, her pack, her mate, and her life. The celebration music resumed behind her as if nothing had happened, as if she had never mattered at all. Alone in the storm began an hour after Alara crossed the pack boundary. Rain poured from the sky as if the moon goddess herself was weeping. Alara stumbled through the forest, her silver dress torn and muddy, her feet bleeding from walking barefoot over rough terrain. She had left with nothing. No money, no supplies, no destination in mind. The rain masked her tears, and for that, she was grateful. She walked for hours, putting as much distance between herself and Silvercrest as possible. Her wolf was silent inside her, retreating deep within to nurse wounds that might never heal. As dawn approached, Elara's body finally gave out. She collapsed at the base of a large oak tree, shivering from cold and exhaustion. Maybe this was how it would end. Maybe she would simply fade away here, forgotten and alone. But as her eyes began to close, she heard voices. Rough, dangerous voices. Rogues. The rogue attack. Well, a harsh voice laughed. What do we have here? A little lost she-wolf, all alone in the woods. Elara forced her eyes open. 3 large male wolves circled her, their eyes glowing with predatory interest. Rogues were wolves without packs, often unstable and dangerous. They recognized weakness, and right now Elara was as weak as she had ever been. Please, she whispered, just leave me alone. Oh, we can't do that. Another rogue grinned, showing yellowed teeth. You smell like pack wolf. Probably got some coin on you, or at least that pretty dress might fetch something. The largest rogue, clearly the leader, crouched down in front of her. Or maybe we just have some fun first. You look like you could use some company. Elara tried to summon her wolf, tried to find the strength to fight, but there was nothing left. The bond breaking had drained her completely. She closed her eyes, wondering if this was fate's final cruelty. Then the night exploded with violence. The shadow wolves, dark shapes burst from the trees, moving with supernatural speed. Elara heard snarls, screams, and the sounds of battle. She kept her eyes closed, too exhausted to care if she lived or died. Within moments, silence fell. Check if she is alive. A deep, commanding voice ordered. Gentle hands touched her neck, feeling for a pulse. She is breathing, Alpha. Barely. She has been through something terrible. The scent of a broken mate bond is all over her. Bring her, the commanding voice said. We take her to shadow territory. She dies here otherwise. Elara felt herself being lifted carefully. The last thing she registered before unconsciousness claimed her was a scent like dark pine and midnight storms. Strong arms held her securely, and a voice whispered near her ear. You are safe now, little wolf. I promise. Awakening to darkness. Elara woke to softness. A comfortable bed, warm blankets, the smell of herbs and healing. For one confused moment, she thought it had all been a nightmare. But then she tried to feel for her mate bond and found only emptiness. And the truth came crashing back. She was in an unfamiliar room. Dark stone walls, simple but elegant furniture, and a large window showing a forest she did not recognize. Where was she? The door opened, and a woman entered carrying a tray. She was middle-aged with kind eyes and graying hair. Ah, you are awake. Good. You have been sleeping for 2 days. I am Elise, the pack healer. Pack? Elara's voice was hoarse. What pack? Shadow pack territory, Elise said, setting down the tray. You were found on our borders, attacked by rogues. Our Alpha brought you here personally. Shadow pack. Elara's heart skipped. She had heard stories about Shadow pack. They were known as the Ghost Pack, operating in secrecy, feared by enemies, and shrouded in mystery. Their Alpha was called the Ghost King, a powerful warrior who had conquered 3 rival packs and ruled the Eastern Territories with an iron fist. I need to leave, Elara said, trying to sit up and failing. I cannot bring trouble to your pack. You bring no trouble, a male voice said from the doorway. You are welcome here as long as you need sanctuary. Elara turned and felt her breath catch. The man in the doorway was tall and powerfully built, with black hair and eyes like silver moonlight. He radiated authority and danger in equal measure. This had to be the Alpha, meeting the Ghost King. I am Dante Nightshade, he said, stepping into the room. Alpha of Shadow Pack. You may call me Dante. Elara, she whispered. Elara Moonstone. Thank you for saving me, Alpha Dante. I will leave as soon as I am strong enough. I do not want to burden your pack. Dante's eyes studied her with unnerving intensity. Where will you go? You have no pack, no resources, and your wounds are not just physical. A broken mate bond takes time to heal. Alara's eyes filled with tears despite her best efforts. That is my problem, not yours. Tell me what happened, Dante said, pulling a chair close to the bed and sitting down. I want to know why a she-wolf was cast out in such condition. Why do you care? Alara asked bitterly. I am no one, just another rejected wolf. You are someone who survived what should have killed you, Dante replied. You are someone who walked through a storm rather than beg for scraps of mercy. That interests me. So tell me your story, Alara Moonstone. And something in his voice, in his steady silver gaze, made Alara want to talk. For the first time since the rejection, she felt heard, seen, like she mattered. So she told him everything. The offer. When Alara finished her story, Dante was silent for a long moment. His expression had grown darker with every word, particularly when she described the public humiliation and Adrian's cruelty. Adrian Blackwood is a fool, Dante finally said, his voice cold. He threw away a loyal mate for a pretty face and sweet lies. I know of Vivian Sterling. She is dangerous and ambitious. She will destroy Silver Crest from within. That is no longer my concern, Alara said, though her heart ached at the thought. Is it not? Dante leaned forward. Do you truly feel nothing? No anger? No desire to show them what they lost? No wish to make them regret their choice? Alara's hands clenched into fists. What I feel does not matter. I am powerless. I have nothing. You have more power than you know, Dante said. You simply need someone to show you how to use it. What are you saying? Dante stood and walked to the window, looking out at his territory. I am saying that I offer you a choice, Alara. You can leave here when you heal, start over somewhere far away, and try to forget what happened. Or you can stay. Train with my warriors. Learn to fight. Discover the strength that allowed you to survive what would have killed most wolves. And when you are ready, you can return to Silver Crest not as a broken, rejected she-wolf, but as a force to be reckoned with. Why would you help me? Alara asked suspiciously. What do you gain? Dante turned back to her, and something flickered in his silver eyes. Let us say I dislike injustice. And I particularly dislike seeing potential wasted. You could become extraordinary, Alara, but only if you choose to rise from these ashes instead of letting them bury you. The decision. Alara looked at her hands. They were scarred now from her journey through the forest. Weak from everything she had endured. She thought about Adrian's cold face, Vivian's triumphant smile, the pack members who had abandoned her without a second thought. Then she thought about the pendant she had dropped on the floor, the life she had built, the love she had given so freely, all of it thrown away like garbage. Something dark and fierce stirred inside her. Her wolf, silent for days, finally lifted its head. If I stay, Alara said slowly, I want to become strong enough that no one ever makes me feel worthless again. I want to become someone they cannot ignore or dismiss. I want them to see me and remember what they lost. That can be arranged, Dante said with a slight smile. And when I am ready, Alara continued, her voice growing stronger, I want Adrian Blackwood to look at me and realize that rejecting me was the biggest mistake of his life. I want Vivian Sterling to understand that she did not win. She simply woke something that should have stayed sleeping. Now you begin to see, Dante said with approval. So what is your choice, Alara Moonstone? Do you run and hide? Or do you stay and transform yourself into something magnificent? Alara met his silver gaze with determination burning in her own eyes. The broken, sobbing she-wolf who had collapsed in the rain was gone. In her place was someone new, someone who had been forged in betrayal and was ready to be reborn in fire. I stay, she said firmly. Teach me everything. Make me strong. And when I am ready, I will return to Silver Crest not for revenge, but to show them all exactly what they threw away. Dante's smile widened. Then welcome to Shadowpack, Alara. Your transformation begins tomorrow. But I warn you, the training will be brutal. The path will be hard. You will want to quit many times. I will not quit, Elara promised. I have already survived the worst pain imaginable. Everything else is just practice. We shall see, Dante said, extending his hand. Welcome to your new life. Elara took his hand, and as their palms met, she felt something shift inside her. This was not an ending. This was a beginning. The old Elara, the gentle Luna who lived to please others, had died in that ballroom. Someone new was being born in her place. Someone stronger. Someone dangerous. Someone who would rise from the ashes like a phoenix and burn bright enough to blind those who had cast her into darkness. The broken mate bond still ached in her chest. But alongside the pain, something else was growing. Purpose. Determination. Power. Adrian Blackwood had rejected her, thinking she was nothing. Vivian Sterling had taken her place, thinking she had won. They were both about to learn how wrong they were. The shattered Luna was gone. The phoenix was rising. And when she returned to Silvercrest, she would return as a queen's gambit. 6 months of steel and shadow. 6 months passed like a storm reshaping the landscape. Every dawn, Elara woke before sunrise to train with Shadowpack's elite warriors. Every dusk, she collapsed into bed with muscles screaming and bones aching. But she never complained, never asked for mercy, never showed weakness. Dante had not lied. The training was brutal. She learned to fight with claws, teeth, and bare hands. She studied pack politics, war strategy, and the art of reading people's intentions. She discovered powers within herself she never knew existed, abilities that had been sleeping, waiting for pain to wake them. Her wolf, once gentle and nurturing, had transformed into something fierce and beautiful. Where she had once been soft, she was now lean muscle and deadly grace. Where she had once sought to please, she now command. The broken Luna had died. In her place stood something magnificent. Dante trained her personally, pushing her beyond every limit. But he also treated her with a respect Adrian never had. He asked her opinions, listened to her ideas, saw her as an equal partner rather than a pretty decoration. And slowly, carefully, something began to grow between them. Not the overwhelming mate bond she had shared with Adrian, but something deeper, something chosen rather than fated. "You are ready," Dante announced one evening as they finished sparring. Elara had finally managed to pin him, something that had taken months to achieve. "Tomorrow we attend the Continental Pack Summit. Every major alpha will be there, including Adrian Blackwood." Alara's heart skipped, but her expression remained calm. "Good. It is time they see what they created." The Continental Summit. The Continental Pack Summit was held in neutral territory, a massive lodge built centuries ago for inter-pack negotiations. Every powerful alpha attended with their advisors and most important pack members. It was a display of strength, politics, and careful alliances. Dante arrived with his full entourage, and at his right hand walked Elara. She wore a black dress that hugged her transformed body, elegant and powerful. Her dark hair was styled in a sophisticated updo, and her eyes, once soft and kind, now held steel and secrets. Diamond earrings caught the light, a gift from Dante that declared her importance in his pack. She was no longer the rejected, sobbing she-wolf. She was Dante Nightshade's most trusted advisor. She was a force of nature. She was everything Adrian had thrown away, polished into something that would haunt his dreams. The grand hall buzzed with conversation as alphas greeted each other with varying degrees of warmth. Elara scanned the room and found what she was looking for. Adrian stood near the refreshment table, Vivian plastered to his side like an expensive accessory. He looked tired, Elara noted. There were shadows under his eyes that had not been there 6 months ago. Vivian, by contrast, looked triumphant. She wore the Luna's pendant, the one Elara had dropped. But somehow, on Vivian's neck, it looked cheap. Fake. Wrong. "Ready," Dante murmured beside her, his hand warm on her lower back. "More than ready," Elara replied with a smile that would have made her old self nervous. the shock of recognition. They walked into the main hall together, and Alara felt the exact moment Adrian noticed her. She did not look at him directly, but she felt his shock like a physical blow through the space between them. Even with the mate bond broken, some awareness remained. Some connection that could never be fully severed. Conversations stuttered and died as wolves recognized the she-wolf walking beside the infamous Ghost King. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Is that Alara Moonstone? I thought she was dead. She looks completely different. What is she doing with Alpha Nightshade?" Dante led her to their designated seats at the high table, positioning her so that she had a perfect view of Adrian's table. She finally allowed herself to look directly at him. Adrian had gone pale. His eyes were locked on her face with an expression of absolute disbelief. Beside him, Vivian had stiffened, her smile frozen and her eyes calculating as she assessed this unexpected threat. "Breathe, Adrian," Vivian purred, loud enough for nearby tables to hear. "It is just a ghost from the past. Nothing that concerns us now." But Adrian could not look away. His hands gripped the edge of the table so hard his knuckles turned white. Alara smiled at him, slow and cold, then turned her attention to Dante as if Adrian Blackwood was not worth another moment of her time. Political maneuvering. The summit began with formal greetings and reports from each pack. When it was Silvercrest's turn, Adrian stood to present his pack status. Alara noticed he stumbled over his words twice, his concentration clearly broken. "Silvercrest pack remains strong," Adrian reported, though his voice lacked conviction. "We have maintained our alliances and continue to protect our territory from rogue threats." "Interesting," Alpha Marcus of the Western Pack commented dryly. "I heard Silvercrest recently lost 3 trade agreements with smaller packs. Does that count as maintaining alliances?" Adrian's jaw tightened. "Temporary setbacks. We are renegotiating terms." Alara knew the truth. Vivian had been systematically alienating Silvercrest's allies, replacing loyal relationships with ones that benefited her personally. She was not building the pack up. She was hollowing it out from within. When Dante's turn came, he stood with effortless authority. "Shadow Pack continues to expand our influence through fair trade and mutual protection agreements. My advisor, Alara, has been instrumental in negotiating several new alliances." He gestured to her. "Perhaps she could share our strategy." Every eye turned to Alara. This was the moment to show she was not broken, not worthless, not nothing. She stood with perfect grace, her voice clear and confident. "The key to lasting alliances is simple. Treat your partners with respect. Honor your commitments. Value loyalty over convenience. And never, ever throw away something precious because something shinier catches your eye." The message was unmistakable. Several alphas smirked. Adrian looked like she had slapped him. Vivian's face flushed with barely concealed rage. "Wise words," Alpha Marcus said with approval. "Perhaps more leaders should take that advice to heart." Private confrontation. During the lunch break, Alara walked the lodge gardens alone, knowing Adrian would follow. She had read his face during the morning session. He was desperate to speak with her. Good. Let him suffer the way she had suffered. "Alara." His voice came from behind her, rough and uncertain. "Please, I need to talk to you." She turned slowly, her expression neutral. "Alpha Blackwood. How unexpected. Did you need something?" The formal address made him flinch. "Do not call me that. I am still Adrian to you." "No," Alara said softly. "You are not. Adrian was my mate. You are the alpha who rejected me publicly, humiliated me before the entire pack, and cast me out with nothing. We are not on first-name terms." "I made a mistake," Adrian said, the words tumbling out desperately. "Alara, I made a terrible mistake. I should never have rejected you. I should never have believed Vivian when she said we were true mates. I should never have hurt you the way I did." "You are right," Alara agreed calmly. "You should not have. But you did. So now we both have to live with your choices." "I want to fix this." Adrian stepped closer, his eyes pleading. "I want to take it back." All of it. The rejection, the cruelty, everything. Tell me how to fix this, Alara. Please. The truth unveiled. Alara laughed, and the sound was nothing like her old gentle laugh. This one was sharp and cold. Fix it? Adrian, you cannot fix this. You broke something that cannot be repaired. You severed a mate bond. That is permanent. There is no going back. We could try, Adrian insisted. We could rebuild what we had. I see it now, Alara. I see how perfect you were. How good we were together. Vivian is not who I thought she was. She has been manipulating everything, turning the pack against me, making decisions without my knowledge. And you are only realizing this now? Alara interrupted. 6 months later, when I appear at a summit looking happy and successful, suddenly you see the truth? How convenient. It is not like that, Adrian protested. I have been realizing for months that I made a mistake, but I did not know where you were. I did not know if you were even alive. When I saw you today, I thought I was seeing a ghost. In a way, you are, Alara said quietly. The Alara you knew is dead, Adrian. She died on that ballroom floor when you ripped out her heart. I am someone new now. Someone who does not need your approval or your love. Someone who has moved beyond you entirely. Adrian's face crumbled. Is it Dante? Have you mated with him? That is none of your business. Please, Alara, I am begging you, give me another chance. Let me prove that I can be the mate you deserve. I know I hurt you. I know I do not deserve your forgiveness. But I am asking for it anyway. The mirror of cruelty. Alara stepped closer, close enough that she could see the desperation in his eyes. Close enough that he could see the absolute absence of love in hers. Do you remember what you said to me that night? She asked softly. You said I was not enough. You said I never was. Do you remember how that felt, Adrian? To hear the person you loved most in the world tell you that you were fundamentally inadequate. I was wrong, Adrian whispered. I was so wrong. Yes, you were. But wrong does not erase the damage. Wrong does not heal the wounds. Wrong does not bring back what you destroyed. She paused. You taught me something valuable that night, Adrian. You taught me that love is not enough. That dedication is not enough. That giving someone your whole heart is not enough if they do not value it. I value it now, he said desperately. Now is too late. You had 5 years to value me, Adrian. 5 years of me being loyal, supportive, and devoted. And you threw it all away for a pretty face and empty promises. So no, I will not give you another chance. I will not let you hurt me again. I will not be your second choice when your first choice fails. Adrian reached for her hand, but she stepped back smoothly. Do not touch me. You lost that right.
Vivienne's intervention.
There you are. Vivian's voice rang out across the garden. She swept toward them like an avenging angel, her eyes blazing with fury. Adrian, darling, people are looking for you. You should not be out here alone with her. Vivian, not now, Adrian said wearily. Oh, I think now is perfect, Vivian said with a tight smile. She turned to Alara. I do not know what lies you are telling him, but Adrian is mine now. The moon goddess gave him to me. You need to accept that and move on. Alara studied Vivian with new eyes, seeing what she had missed before. The calculation, the manipulation, the barely concealed madness in those green eyes. The moon goddess did not give him to you, Alara said calmly. You took him through lies and manipulation. There is a difference. How dare you? Vivian hissed. I am Luna of Silver Crest Pack. You are nothing but a rejected. Careful. Dante's voice cut through the garden like a blade. He appeared beside Alara, his presence radiating protective danger. You are about to insult my most valued advisor. I suggest you choose your next words very carefully, Luna Sterling. Vivian paled but rallied quickly. Alpha Nightshade. How charming that you have taken in Adrian's cast-offs. Though I suppose Shadowpack has always had lower standards. The gauntlet thrown. The insult hung in the air like poison. Adrian made a choked sound. Vivian, stop. You are making things worse. I am making things worse? Vivian whirled on him. I am not the one mooning over an ex-mate like a lovesick puppy. I am not the one who cannot let go of the past. She is nothing, Adrian. Nothing. Why can you not see that? Because it is a lie, Adrian said quietly, and something in his voice suggested a dam was breaking. She was never nothing. I was the nothing. I was the weak fool who believed your poison and threw away something precious. Vivian's face twisted with rage. You will regret this, Adrian Blackwood.